Hello, Kelly here with Kelly Soroka Life with another installment in the crystal series that I am doing for the Taurus new moon. So again, the worksheet is here, the PDF, if you want to print it out and use this. It has all the information and I'm going over it in each installment and also journal pages that you can use for this time period and anything that you want to do with crystals. So far, we've done crystal grids and crystals in the chakras. And so you can go back and listen to those. They're on the channel. So you can go back and listen to those if you're interested in either one of those topics or both. But today I want to talk a little bit about goddess stones. Many of us work with goddesses that we are, we feel that are patron goddesses, goddesses that we're just working with for a time, goddesses that we connect with certain seasons, goddesses that we may just want to get to know better. And a good way to do that is through crystals. And so looking at, and so it's very, again, this one is one of those very particular. It's very particular because we all have different relationships with different goddesses. And some of us have very deep relationships with some goddesses. Some of us have just relationships with a goddess or the goddess. You might just have work with just the goddess in general, or you could work with a specific pantheon, like the Norse goddesses, Celtic goddesses, Greek goddesses, whatever that is. But a good way to really do that and to connect with that goddess energy is to use crystals. And so, because this is so open, I just gave a few examples, and you can see it in here in the PDF, just some examples of ones that just kind of seem to fit to me. And that again is how I feel, how I connect with these goddesses. And some of them I work with very closely, some of them I work with and have worked with in the past. Some of them I know that other people that I know work with them or are very popular goddesses that people work with as witches. So I just wanted to give you some examples and the ones that I have in here are Athena with yellow topaz, Isis with turquoise, Bridget with carnelian, Freya with petalite, Inanna with malachite, Selene with moonstone, the Morgan with hematite, Holly with black obsidian, Amaterasu with citrine, Demeter with dendritic agate, Aphrodite with rose quartz, Persephone and garnet, and Gaia and moss agate. So those are just some for you to get started. Maybe you haven't worked with goddess stones before, or you want to bring crystal energy into working with your goddesses. And this is a good way to do that. So I gave you again, it's just it's just some suggestions for you to work with these stones and maybe get started with working with one of these goddesses, or you work with that particular pantheon, or you want to start connecting with that goddess or that goddess energy. And so you can kind of match those energies together, just like Aphrodite, the goddess of love, and rose quartz. So those kinds of things, I kind of looked at those the way they go together. Like the Morgan is a very strong battle goddess, and so I put hematite with hers. So that's very battle worthy stone. It's very grounding and earthy, and um, so that is the kind of energy that goes with her. And that again is just how I connect with these particular goddesses. And some of them, like Bridget, I've worked with for a long time, and um, somebody like Isis is that I know about, and I know other people work with her a lot, but she's not a goddess that I've ever really worked with in depth. And that's just my particular practice, my particular pathway. And she may be a goddess that I work with later on. And so you just never know. So that's why I wanted to give you a little insight into goddess stones and how you can get started working with a goddess energy and bring in crystal energy. And it might be the other way around. You might have a crystal that you really like to work with. And once you start thinking about that crystal and thinking, well, what what crystal, what energy does this kind of remind me of? Why am I so attracted to this energy? And what is it that I like about this energy? And then maybe look at some goddesses and look at some aspects of those goddesses and see if that's something that you might want to work with. And so I did that not too long ago. I've always loved Bumblebee Jasper, and I have several pieces of it. And here's a little piece of Bumblebee Jasper. And I took it out one day and just kind of like, I need to have this on my desk. And I kind of rotate, crystals on my desk that I'm working with. And so that was one that came up, and I wasn't quite sure, but then I went to a class and that I was taking, and the person was giving a lesson, and she does a lot of Celtic mythology, and she was giving a lesson on a kind of lesser known goddess named Govnet. It looks like Govnate, but it's Govnet in Irish, and she was the patron of honey and bees, and and I think she was one of the ones that was kind of had that crossover between saint and goddess, and real person. So she kind of like melds all the things, real person who was a keeper of bees, and also the patron saint of bees, and also was a goddess, and now looked kind of as a goddess of the bees and honey and smithcraft as well. I think so. She was into making tools. So that came up, and it just kind of all fell into place. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's really giving me a message here with with this time of year, with the everything growing, the springtime and bees and things growing, and then just listening to this Bumblebee Jasper and thinking, how can what is it that I'm being called to? And so I did a study with her, and did some research, and she's become part of my little group, and part of my and she's like one of my advisors now. So it's interesting that it kind of went backward with that, kind of had that energy, and it fell into place eventually. And sometimes you'll just work with crystals, and it will just be the right thing to work with for a while, and then you'll move on to something else, or some maybe that you work with and really form a relationship. And goddess is the same way. Some people have goddesses that they worked with all of their love, and that is their patron goddess, and that's the person that they go to. And some two people move within goddesses, and they go to different goddesses at different times, or just kind of think of the goddess as the energy. So it doesn't have to be one way that you do it, and no way is the right way, but the right way is the right way for you. And so this is for you to get started, for you to look at some energies and goddess energy, and just to be curious about it, and just to kind of look and see how those energies are playing in your life right now. And there's maybe something that is calling to you, and the crystal helps you kind of put it, just like with Govnet, it helped me put it into words. It helped me put it into perspective, and to listen to the message that was coming through. So again, thank you for being here today. And today was crystals, goddess stones, so crystals and goddesses. So if you want, all of these are written down here. I'll leave the link to this PDF in the comments section. And you can let me know what crystals and goddesses that you like to work with, or if anyone is calling to you and you're kind of working with that energy. So I will be back in the next tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, with the full moon in Scorpio. So I'm really hoping tomorrow to do a kind of full moon ceremony with some crystals, and look at some crystals with the full moon and with the energy of the Scorpio. So Have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.